You come in. There's the bathroom. And then, for some reason, they didn't put our bedspreads on. This is our room. This is
They took them off for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was to make it in Tiberias. It's where we're at, and then they have like a little hot water heater thing with tea and instant coffee, and we've got all of our adapters plugged into every open.
We've got all kinds of stuff out here.
And see, come in here, it's like radioactivity with all the charging that's going on. And then, let's see if I can...
Can't see much out there tonight.
with the glare. And then, yeah, there we go. And that's Tiberias outside. Okay. So, dressings. Cucumbers. She said that was not couscous today, didn't she? She didn't.
What?
That stuff I thought was couscous. She said it was something else. That back there.
Yep.
Okay, and then rolls. And then tonight, I don't know what those are. Looks like
That's
chicken.
Fish? Isn't that
Fish?
fish?
Oh,
I don't know if it's fish or chicken.
And mashed potatoes, and the light's
That's
not very
fish,
good
I
in here,
know.
but the mashed potatoes are definitely yellow.
Mm-hmm. Is that zucchini?
Looks like some kind of squash.
It's a squash of some sort. Squash
And
family.
that's fish.
Yeah.
And it's desserts and fruit. And this is looking back now. It's completely empty, and from what Frank has told me is that this place is usually jam-packed with people. That's where we ate breakfast this morning. And then tonight's soup, it's hard to say what it is. So here we are at the dig. There's Frank taking some pictures.
Need to videotape me digging instead of taking pictures.
Well, I'm gonna. I actually came over there initially to do that, and then.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another scorpion. Another one. Oh, look at this, is a big one. Oh, mama.
We found one about 40 times that size early.
What?
Here, let me video. Where is he?
Right there.
I don't see him.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll make Trisha feel comfortable knowing that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you don't care about
That's
the
a itty
claws,
bitty
it's
one.
that tail.
Annoying the scorpion.
What's that tail?
He's an excuse to stop for a few seconds. On my clay hill over here. Been digging on sand all morning.
For some reason, they seem to put the hardest dirt in the corner.
Right in the corner. That's what I was thinking.
I don't know how they manage that.
There's nothing but. Well, let's reenact it. I'll videotape it.
I'll just redo it since it's already smashed. What can? Some pipe right there. What they do is they start out with these 5 by 5 meter squares, and then within the square, if they find something, they kind of do a subsection called a locus, and then you have multiples, which are called loci. And then this is all this bathhouse they've excavated where that lady is standing right there. That's all marble flooring that they've come upon. I don't know how the light's showing it. And then over here, those guys input data, write out and draw it. But as you saw yesterday on the video, if you leave all of this, it just grows over and so then I'm going to come over here. Over here, here's a pit. Let me get it from a different angle.
You don't like classical music? Garth Brooks? Did you get a copy of that?
I had to show you kind of down in there. They've been working on this square here. So over this direction, this give you kind of a, Frank is over that way. And straight out there is Sea of Galilee, just beyond those trees.
I got the Blues Brothers.
And
I
then,
got country music, Johnny Mathis. Frankie Valley, Four Seasons.
beautiful flowers. Oops, let me swing back around and go through those trees. There are people sitting who, when you get buckets as they're digging, if they find something, they throw it in a bucket and they go and they wash it. Now here is this church that they had found and somewhat reconstructed.
Charles Page.
He must have some news.
Penny, we should have photographed it in the ground.
Really?
Hey, wait a minute.
I'm still looking for the rest of the pieces.
You know, we need to put it back. We need to put that back and take a few pictures.
We'll clean it.
No. Let's put it back in the ground. Take a picture.
Make it look all smart.
Come on, we got to
Yeah.
Come here.
Bring all your cameras.
Let's look at it.
Put it right back in the spot, right where you found it.
Let me get
Oh, man,
the
that's neat,
numbers. What do you call this new room? Penny?
Room 3.
Oh, look at that.
It's got decorations.
Yeah, it's decorations.
It's got to be late
I hope
6th
Janie didn't
century.
find it.
I did.
No, Janie didn't find this one. She found the first one. But look at this one.
Oh, that one just came out. Who did
Hefty.
Hefty found that? See, I
Molded.
see.
It's blown into a mold. Blown into a mold. It's both blown and molded.
Whoa.
The handle came down here. They'll probably have the handle by now.
Cool.
You got the basket number already?
Wait, Penthouse.
Eh,
That's the one
seven.
that.
Get the basket number.
Wait a minute. Let me look at 95, 96, 98.
You know,
98D.
something funny. Yesterday, I found a piece of glass. It was about that color,
Yeah.
and it was a
it's all
twist.
that-
It was twisted.
Twisted. They twist it. They could twist it around.
There was nothing else. I wonder if it was somebody
molten.
brought the handle. clear
Don't
out.
fall.
Well, before that, we were here. This is the church. And then behind the church, what are they calling that back there? It's not catacombs or what?
It's their burial, secondary burial,
Okay. Basically a mass grave type thing is what they were saying.
reburial of some bones from the 614 Persian massacre. A place you wouldn't want to be.
No, not as Christian.
Way to go, empty! Woohoo! They asked what the name of that room was, and I said it's the mother
This is-
load room.
This is where they're digging right here. Here's the wall of the church, back at the church. And then
How you guys doing?
these are right here, some horizontal stones. This is kind of an exciting area because they're finding
They
bones.
did.
I don't think it's a handle for that. It's too small. It's on the desk.
Oh.
And then they're down there pulling out dirt. I'll climb down in.
It's all full. Here's another one here.
Because there's another handle on your table, a smaller one.
Is that about 4 by 8 down there?
Yeah. Natalie, you can give me this one also.
FD.
Yes,
FD.
yes.
They want to photograph it where you found it in place when it's still dirty.
Okay.
So I want someone to come up here and get it from me.
Okay. I'll go down in the hole.
All right, you go down and take it. And with the
Hi.
handle in place.
She found two, but
Another bottle?
no, I give it.
But that's what
I'll give this to you in one hand, and I'll give this to you careful. Put it back in place with the handle on. And photographer, stand back just a little bit. Let him work.
Yes.
Maybe we found a little piece of glass here somewhere. Okay.
We're supposed to come down the ladder. Let me sit.
Bring the
Thank you.
photographers up. I'll give you the.
Light, are you okay?
Do we have the little measuring thing?
They were here because we kept tripping over them. I know I saw them. I think they were up in that area.
Oh, sorry. We're up on the Golan Heights. This is called Peace Lookout, Peace View. Again, you can see how few tourists there are. In fact, I am the only person here because I ran back to the bus to get the camera. Okay, sorry, I'm walking back fast. They're all kind of waiting on me. Not very long though. That's the bus we're riding on.
You see up there, there's a little cutout there, and there's a nice thick wall. And the idea is that when they knew that the pack was going to come, they built a second wall. There's a space between there and there.
The technical name for that is casematic. Casematic wall. Casematic.
Yeah. But I don't know if what they put in between.
Usually fill, sand, stones.
They may or may
Whatever they
not
could
have.
get.
They may or may not have. Okay. They had to bury somebody. This looked like a good place, and so they did it. Like the one up there is dug into the wall. See that little indentation there? That's a tomb. For a long time we thought those were steps.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until somebody came along, a bright young guy, and said, that looks like a tomb. So we dug it out, and sure enough it was a tomb. A stela. And of course the famous stela that has the moon god was just up on the right. It had fallen over, it was broken in two. That's in the Israel Museum. Said something to him. I think there's a little place up there for washing your hands or feet. We can go in more. And they took the map and they drew lines. And the joke is that they didn't have a pencil sharpener. And the lines came out very wide. This is a marker. This is a border marker. In 1923, they put border markers. And this is a marker that separates Palestine from Syria. Now, when the Israelis were negotiating with the Syrians a couple of years ago by giving them 1823 border markers, unfortunately, we were hoping to be a plaque on there. There isn't. We joked about the fact that we were going to take that border marker and move it up there 5 or 10 kilometers. I would like to take it home and put it in my garden, but Charles, can you listen? You already would. Which way did he go? The best way to go is
You're
down
fine.
around here. You can see where the double wall was. We had in the middle the boulders this big to fall out. And we had a group of Baptists, big guys, and put in pieces of plywood and tied ropes around, and they pulled them out. I understand that this house was built. They made a fire and wanted to see if it had brick.
When archaeology began to be systematic in the late 19th century and the early 20th century, nobody was interested in Christian archaeology. We tore up Christian stuff to get to the Iron Age stuff. The main reason, and there were Christians doing it, the main reason was we thought we don't need to prove the New Testament, but we need something to help us prove Old Testament. So all those guys, Robinson and those earlier Evans, they just went straight through it. So, well, this is archaeology with New Testament. This is Roman, period, but it's Roman archaeology, Herodian archaeology, and not so much New Testament archaeology per se. And all. So anyway, and that whole thing, this is one of the big discoveries of all time, because architecture is so important. The gospel writers assume that you have some sort of basic understanding of first century architecture, but the thing is, we don't. And we didn't, because we didn't have any. The closest we had was some late Roman or early Byzantine ruins in Capernaum. And so everything there's been recycled, used in secondhand usage, and so you don't get a picture, you don't get an idea. And so the best we could do was say we could guess what the house might have looked like until we found this house. And then we said, now we got an idea of what a first century house looked like. Now this house was called an insula. An insula is a Latin phrase, a Roman concept. It means island. So the house functioned like an island. And what you got is that the island is kind of the courtyard, and the house grows up around it. Now, I totally disagree with this drawing. I think this is a bad drawing. And the reason for that is, as you can see, we're down here at the southern end, and there were some rooms that have been destroyed. At least in the late Roman insula, there are always rooms across the back, and housing doesn't change very much. I mean, we have this typical Iron Age 4-space house, a Milrav, that didn't change for hundreds of years. And so, I have to imagine that this was probably, houses here. One thing's correct is the door is here, but they got the door more over there, and the doorway is actually right in here. This little room was a passageway in, and so you would enter the house into the courtyard. There would have been some bedrooms along here. We've got 2 kitchens back there, indicating it's a rather large family living here, and then more bedrooms down there. This shows a second floor, and there might have been one. The reason we guessed it that's there is when we excavated the master bedroom, which is the second one over there, we found stairs. The only thing is we didn't know if there's stairs going down or stairs going up. And so the artist guessed that they were going up, but they might have gone down. But, we don't know for sure. The people who excavated that site, that room, for me, was Willis and Brenda Brett from Mississippi. And a few others, had a couple of other people from their church. Willis is the pastor in Jackson, Mississippi. And we knew we were going to find a huge hoard of coins and oil lamps because we were getting close to the floor, and we dug right through it. We never did find the floor. Suddenly we were in the Hellenistic period. So I was so disappointed. It was late in the season, and I was so wanting to find that floor, because that's where you find things. That's where it is. So we didn't find it there. Well, let me tell you what we've learned, anthropologically speaking. The average family size in the first century was 10, about 10. So you got father and mother, and you got 8 children. We also know that it's the obligation, and this is still true today for the indigenous peoples of the Western Asia. Fathers are obligated to provide homes for their sons when they marry. We talked about that when we went to Nain the other day. And Zacky's got 2 sons. He'll have to furnish them a place to live. I mean, in the States, we just have to have a rehearsal dinner. Thank God. Thank God. We don't have to build the house. And so, how do they build these houses? Probably like this. Let's say I've got 3 sons, okay, 5 daughters. My oldest son's going to inherit my house, no doubt about it. So what I do for the second son, first of all, I give him a room in my house like this. But after I die and my oldest son inherits the house, he's gone. So he builds himself 2 rooms, a bedroom and a kitchen. He starts having children, and the house begins to expand like that, and so on, like that. You got bedrooms, and you end up with a courtyard, houses, rooms, boom, like that. That's how these things evolved over time. Just like I said the other day when we were at somewhere. These Arab houses look like they're always becoming, because they are. And that's because they have to pay for these expansions when they don't go to the bank and take out a 6.25% mortgage. When you got money, you build. When you don't, you don't. And that's it. And that was the same principle here in this house. So this house was evolved over a period of time. And it's the only first century insula that we've ever found anywhere in this part of the Roman Empire. All the others are in Rome or in Italy. You know, we hadn't found any here. Oh, they may have some in Asia Minor, but I've never been to an excavation where we had one. Now, I suspect, and Rami and I have talked about it, we'll find another one over there. And we've talked several times about me coming back and bringing a team and, and doing that. But in the 90s, the Jerusalem Center was hitting on all cylinders, and we were getting, we anticipated having 3,000 students in 2001. That's what we planned for. We were going to have, that was our biggest year ever. Imagine, we were a small university, 3,000 students. We ended up with 400. This year, we've got 31, and it's because of all this situation. So I was so busy, our enrollment was kind of expanding, exploding in the 90s, that I didn't have time to excavate much after about 1996. I think maybe I did a season or two in 97 or 98, and then that was it. So Rami and I have talked about going over there, but so far I haven't done it. I hadn't had it on my mind because we had all this other stuff. Of course, now we have Kursi and Capernaum, and I don't know when I'll get back, but one day I will. Well, anyway, now, the Bible assumes you know about this architecture. So let me talk a little bit about how these families live. Are you okay or are you too hot? I mean, we can go to the shade, but you won't see the house. So I really wanted you to see the house. We talked about this. Okay. The father and mother, these are sleeping chambers. These individual rooms are sleeping chambers, bedrooms. And people sleep there in the cold, wet months. In the hot, dry months, they sleep up on the roof, whether it's up on a second story or top of the bedroom. That's it. So, at Katzrin tomorrow, if it's open, if we get there in time, you'll see they have these iron hooks with big round cylinders. I think we'll see one at Korazim that pack roofs down. You roll them, and it packs the roofs. And they've got one at Katzrin. So the father slept at one end. Hey, this is good. This is kind of an idea of what an insular room looks like. 6 feet wide, more or less, and about 10 feet long, perhaps. But you got your father at one end, your mother at the other end, close to the door. She's out here close to the door, so she can get up in the morning, go to the kitchen, and make bread. And the children are all in the middle. They don't have beds. They put straw mats down on the floor. They don't have blankets. They snuggle up. That's how they keep warm, body heat. And they're simple people. They might have a piece of wooden furniture, a table or something in the room, and that's it. And so that's how they lived. Now, so we got the courtyard, we got the door, we got the bedrooms, we know how many people are here. And so now we want to apply this to things from the New Testament, okay? First of all, we're told in the Gospel of Mark, I think chapter 2, I'm pretty sure it's chapter 2. I know it's chapter 2 or 3. That Jesus is teaching in the courtyard of Peter's mother's house, or Peter's house, it says. So here's the courtyard. He would probably be somewhere in the middle. He may be over here. He may be over here, and away from the kitchen. He may be over here, but somewhere where he would be centrally located. And we're told that there's so many people crowded around, they can't get in. You can't even get around the door. So here's the door. So overflow, like that. Now there's a bench around, you can see a little bit of it over there. A bench that goes around the interior of the courtyard. There's a little over there, just in front of the residence sign. When you get to Korazin, you'll see it beautifully at Korazin. And there's a thatched eave over that bench to provide shade, which they have, which we don't. And so they brought this man to Jesus. They couldn't get him in because of the crowd, so they tore off part of the roof. So Jesus sitting on the bench, they tear off this thatched eave and lower him down, where Jesus. So he's got to be over there because there's no roof to go over here. So he's over there. Secondly, there's this passage in Luke chapter 11. It sounds almost kind of like a tongue twister. Suppose you have a friend who comes at midnight and he says, "Friend, lend me some loaves because I've had a friend who's arrived on a journey," and he says from inside the room, "I can't get up now." Do you remember why? Our children are asleep. Where are the children?
In the way.
All in here. See, they're between Daddy and Mama.
Get
I can't get up. My children are asleep. But because he's your friend, and because he asked, and because he's persistent, then you get up and do what's required. Now, there's a lot more going on in this story than that. This is a whole hospitality, everybody in the house, kind of. And if you live in a house like this and you got company that comes, he's not just my company, he's everybody's company. And in fact, in a village like this, he's everybody's company, in the village like that. Third, there's a story in Luke about a woman who loses a coin in a dark room, in a floor. These floors aren't plastered, they're just rough like that. You can see them if you can get in the bedroom, but you probably can. You have to crawl over some stuff, to get in there. Used to we could get in easily, maybe around, but you'll see the floors, and that's where they were. Particularly those bedrooms in the northeast corner are really easy to see the floor. And so imagine no lights, no windows, coin, maybe one of the little bronze dinars that you can't, or shekels, or pruta. And so you have to sweep till you find it.
Black floor.
A black floor, yeah. Light a candle, little oil lamp, and search diligently. And of course the theme is that's how you're supposed to go search for people that are lost in darkness and so on. But the most beautiful application, most people don't have any clue about this, is in John 13 and 14, where in the upper room Jesus says to his disciples, "Somebody's going to betray me tonight." And they say, "Who is it?" And he fingers Judas. And Judas leaves, and the disciples are pretty depressed about it. And Jesus says something to make them feel better. It's supposed to. It didn't work. But he says, "Don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe in me. In my Father's house are many rooms, and I'm going to prepare one for you, that where I am, you may be also." And the thing about this house, if all the rooms are occupied, you know what you do? Just add another. Just add another. Expansion. In my Father. So Jesus using the very language of daily living, in the teachings, and it's really wonderful when you can understand the context, the historical context, of these things. Now, quickly, was one last word or two about this place. This is a fisherman's house. We called it that because we found fishing implements here, a lot of them, hooks and things to work with nets and sinkers and things. These people were fishermen. I had some septics. What is it in English? I can't think of the word. Cynics. They would say, maybe they made those here, but we never found a kiln, so we know they didn't make them here. There was no oven for that sort of thing. So they called it the fisherman's house, and you know how things get out. Now there was an article in the paper a while back that St. Peter's house had been found, in Bethsaida. Just like the Gennesaret boat, as they call it, the Jesus boat. It doesn't have anything to do with Jesus, but it's the Jesus boat. And so we have this. Now Fred Strickard, who's one of our board of advisors here at the excavation, has written a book about Bethsaida, and he has really muddied up the waters for us. Everybody thinks they know where Peter's house is over there in Capernaum. But Strickard says Peter never lived in Capernaum, that he lived here. And the Gospels say that Bethsaida is the home of Peter, Andrew, and Philip. Eusebius adds James and John. So the question is, what does it mean when somebody says, "Where are you from?" Are you from New Jersey or are you from North Gennesaret? Where are you from? Does it mean where do you live now? Or where did you grow up? And it's as ambiguous in Greek and Aramaic and Hebrew as it is in English. So we don't know. Sometimes the Gospels writers very pointedly say, they say this is Peter's mother-in-law's house. You know, so it's not Peter's house. And therefore, if Strickard's hypothesis is correct, then the center of Jesus' ministry in Galilee was not Capernaum, but it was Bethsaida. And that's what he argues in his book. And it's a good argument. I mean, it's a good argument. But certainly Jesus was here many times. And Strickard suggests that they only went to Capernaum to Peter take his wife to see her mother. Then they'd come back here. It's from here to Capernaum. It's just about walking about not even half a day, not even a couple hours, maybe 3, if you don't tarry too long. So this is the fisherman's house, the only one we've found, and it's a big deal. And hope we find some more. Now there's never been an excavation at Chorazin, biblical Chorazin. We got this excavation at Byzantium Chorazin, but we've been given permission to do that, somewhere down the road. And so, after we knock out Kursi and Capernaum, we'll be ready to take the A team up to Chorazin and
10 years of work at Chorazin.
Yeah, 10 years of work. And I'll be old. Vasilios will be dead, or either he's in such good health he'll be alive and I'll be dead.
I'll be dead.
And you're gonna go with us to paradise, Shai.
Hope so.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
On the house, like putting the show up.
In the south we have brick, and sometimes we have like log cabins. I haven't seen any log cabins in Oregon like that. In Nazareth, remember where they lived? In caves. Their homes were in caves. And in Judea, the houses were single, almost like condominium units. Those of you who've been with that type of house was well known. And in Jerusalem, it was like apartments, different things. Well, you want to try to get inside, or are you hot and tired and sweaty and want to get back to the house?
Yeah, according to this, it's 6:22 a.m.
Right now it is? How does that make you feel, Dr. Hamrick?
Frustrated. Could have used another hour. Oh, man. I only had 12 hours of sleep last night, I think.
3 buildings, and turn these 3 buildings into an insula house. And this part over here is the insula, the section, the housing section. But they've made a common courtyard not only among the residents, but these other structures as well, so that they share the courtyard. As Charles mentioned yesterday, what you can see really well here are the benches. This is where people would sit, and there would be a canopy over these, so you could sit in the shade. And as you know, especially those of you who were at Bethsaida yesterday, shade is a wonderful thing. There are a lot of places in this land where Jesus' ministry that are associated with caves. If you go to Jerusalem, there's the cave of Paternoster, traditional place where the Lord's Prayer was first taught to disciples. There's a cave where at Bethlehem, the grotto where it's believed Jesus was born, of course, where he was buried at the Holy Sepulchre. And so somebody said, well, why are caves so important? Get out of the sun. Why in the temple did rabbis teach under the porticos? You're in the shade. Very practical people, you have to be. But these are the benches, and there would be a structure over the top of these benches. That, so when we think of the story in Mark chapter 2 of this man being brought in by his friends, and his friends tear off the roof, we think of joists and trusses and shingles. They came up, they were able to push aside a few branches, so it wasn't quite as destructive as what we might imagine. But it was in a courtyard similar to this. One thing I want to look at the residence, you can see the residence a little better here than you could at Bethsaida. The sleeping chambers. And as Charles mentioned, they're very small, about 6 to 8, maybe 6 by 10, 6 to 8 feet. I'm trying to imagine a family living here, stacked up, as
as if they were poured wood. And you think of that parable of the friend at midnight, and you think of the woman losing a coin in a dark room with no windows, and what it would be like to search with this room if it had no sunlight. Maybe a small window, maybe not. There's some dispute about windows in these rooms. And tiny oil lamp. You saw at the Nazareth village, those little lamps, and a room full of lamps, and it was pretty dark in there. So that's a beautiful image too of God on his hands and knees looking under the dark places for you and me. That's an image we can take from that. Charles mentioned the passage in John 14, "In my Father's house are many rooms." Remember, most of these people in the first century lived very difficult lives. You started working as a small boy or small girl. You always contributed. There wasn't childhood the way we think of it. It was a time to run and play. And you worked 6 days a week from the time you're a small child to basically the day you die. And you might get down to Jerusalem for a festival if you save up money for years to go. You're supposed to go every year, 3 times a year. Most people simply could not. They couldn't afford it. The only security that a person would have, the only security, is that they knew when they got married, they'd have a place to live. They'd have a place to sleep. That's the safety net. They had a room. What Jesus did was take that one thing you can hold on to, the one guarantee you have in life, on an earthly level. He said you got the same guarantee in God's house. You have a place. It's a beautiful message. Now we're going to go up here to the synagogue, and a couple things to see in it, and then take a few minutes to look around on your own.
This would have been a room. You kind of get an idea of how big it is. I would say it looks maybe 7 by 10 or so to me. This looks like it might be another room. Not sure what room that is. It looks a little bigger.
It's not something you just simply pick up and read as a book.
Yeah, but
Most of it is curriculum. It's a teacher's manual, it's a student book.
at least that's a beginning, a very important beginning.
Yeah, right.
Nancy's cats at home don't listen to me either. We're heading in, coming up. I saw them coming around.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's fine.
I thought they were right here. They're coming.
Charge off without them.
Okay, I am right getting a sun flare.
Okay.
You want to come over here? There's
Yeah.
less direct.
Okay.
Are you filming?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm not doing
Not
anything
filming
right now. I
anything.
think it's not filmed for the beauty of my face, that's for sure. It's face for radio. Okay.
They're coming.
Okay, here I go. Of course, that one group I was with, and I did that. Say, move your hat. We can't take a picture. Yeah. Okay. We are here in the synagogue at Byzantine Quartazine. You'll notice it's laid out similar to the synagogue at Capernaum within the Byzantine cardo style. It's like the cardo we saw at Sephora, where you have this big open section and then smaller sections to the side. Not shops, but sort of look like stairs, like the steps we saw at the Nazareth village would have been in here. But this style was very common in churches and synagogues during the Byzantine period. The other thing I want to show you is this chair right here. The seat of Moses. You remember Jesus' words that Brian was talking about? That do what the Pharisees and scribes tell you to do, but don't do as they say, for they love to sit in the seat of Moses. if you're sitting in the seat of Moses, you are speaking with special authority. If a rabbi sits down, he's speaking with special authority. Now, I don't know about your church. Where I go to church, the minister or someone will get up and they will read the scripture. And then they'll go into the sermon and they stand to do the sermon. If the minister sat down, everybody, you'd have a whole room full of people confused. Because they stand up to preach. That's what a minister does. A rabbi sits to speak with special authority. If you notice the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, Jesus sat down and began to speak. And that goes back to the rabbinic tradition of sitting in the chair of Moses, like you have here. And you see the Aramaic inscription on here mentioning the donor, a man named Yodan, son of Ishmael. So, this is a synagogue here in Chorazin. Again, the biblical Chorazin would have had a synagogue, probably not as large, but very similar. This area was destroyed by earthquake. The same earthquake that leveled the monastery at Kursi. Now, actually, it destroyed everything in the Jordan River Valley. Absolutely everything from here. Kursi, Capernaum, Tiberias, Bet-Shean, Jericho, all the way down. January 749. So, it is 9:25 at, between 25 and 20.
He got up before he might say it at the beginning of his ministry.
Makes
Yeah.
it hard to write.
Or was that down? He sat down in every house one, because that's why they looked at it.
Okay.
He sat down. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That's why everybody's looking at him like, oh, he's going to say something.
really
now.
well.
Yeah.
The structure in the
Where they found a name.
This is Chorazin. These are windows at Chorazin. What else, Frank? What's the arch?
It's just an arch, the way they made their arch.
Oh, okay.
What I'm going to do is close in on the keystone arch that holds the whole thing in place. You remove that, it all goes.
That top one.
Yep. That's the linchpin
That's the linchpin, folks.
on this here.
Okay.
This would be biblical Chorazin.
Okay.
And Christ said it would be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon than it would be for Chorazin. You can see there's nothing left today but ruins. And in these fields, over here to your left, and all down through the little valley and back up on the other hills, all of this is where the wheat was grown for the temple, taken back down to Jerusalem.
Oh, boy, I'd have to stop and remember that.
Because a lot of times the reason, that'd be the reason to do that.
Right.
So they would be outside the wall and some siege.
You ready? All right. One of the key to any settlement, one of three keys, and probably the most important key to any settlement, is the availability of water. If you look at Jerusalem, the ancient city of Jerusalem was not developed in the most promising place. It was not developed in the most easily defended place. It was developed on the dinkiest, or the smallest, would be a better word, the smallest of several mountains. Why the smallest? Why the least easily defended? Because it's where the water is. There are three keys to an ancient settlement: water, defendability, and food source. Usually agriculture, sometimes pasture, sometimes combination. Fishing. Yeah. But you have to have a source of water. We just can't live without it, especially in this climate where it only rains for a short time each year. or the rainy season is a fairly short time. And what you see here, what you see at Megiddo, are very elaborate water systems, water shafts, to bring water into the city. At Jerusalem, Hezekiah's tunnel was designed to bring water from the eastern side of the city to the western side. And here we see development of the underground water system here at Hatzor. And now we're going to move down. You can see a little better from down there, a little better description of the shaft. You got a good overview from here. You can see the ancient steps over on this right side. We'll move down there to see the whole system. Get a quick look at this house on the way down, and it doesn't have anything to do with the water system. We'll talk more about this.
Whole type of gaming called
Spiel.
German Spieling.
I've got this terrible situation in my family where my wife speaks German and all three of my kids have taken German in school. I know kindergarten. You know, that's about it.
Yeah.
And so when they start talking in German, it's for a reason.
That's for a reason.
You know it's about you.
There's a definite reason.
There's conspiracy going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1. You have a better view here of some of the workings of this water system here at Hatzor. Those of you who have been to Megiddo, this may look a little familiar because they were built by the same person. Ahab was the greatest builder of the kings of the northern kingdom, Samaria, or Israel. When we go to Dan in a little bit, you'll see some more of Ahab's great building. But you can see the ancient steps again over here. Now this city is very ancient. This water system is relatively recent. It's only about 2,800 years old. But the city was a very ancient Canaanite city. It was the largest of the Canaanite cities. Joshua refers to Hatzor as the head of all the kingdoms of the Canaanites. What I would like you to do, if you would, if those who would like to, you can go down the steps, the circular stairway they have here, to go down to the shaft. It's not like Megiddo where you walk through, but you can go down. Those who have been down reported it's fascinating, and it's a lot easier going down and coming back up. But remember, at least you're not carrying water on the way back up.
No evidence. Well, I am.
I'll go down there. I needed to survive.
Tell you what.
I don't care. You don't need to revisit that experience. No.
And I've got somebody else to speak while everybody else is up there doing their spiel.
Down here. Yeah.
Normally, I like to come here during March, April because the temperature is very good.
Mm-hmm.
You can come without dying of heat stroke, going to Masada and so forth. But if you come like March, April, a lot of times this area here will be filled with water. Now it's not real deep, but it's deep enough that you can get a good idea of what it was like, of how they would come down the steps, come in, dip the buckets in or the jugs in, and then schlepp them back up the other side.
Just think this all had to be dug by hand.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Well, and if you look, a lot of times if you look in the stone,
You can see it. Yeah, there you can see it.
You'll still see the markings.
See the markings
where
up
they
there?
use the picks and so forth. So.
Now,
Right there. You see
there
where
must
they
be
are?
some other sources where this would be filled all year long. Is that right?
Presumably there was a spring.
Yeah, there was a spring here.
There had to be. They have water.
Ugaritic text. Now the Canaanite, now this is simplistic, but so that we get an idea. The Canaanite pantheon consisted of first the creator God, the God that created all the universe, all the world, and his name was El. E-L.
This,
Go ahead.
all right, this is the Canaanite high place. And to the right probably was the altar. There's a semi, it looks like kind of like a circle in that room to the right, possibly where the altar was. And here you have the standing stone.
Which is same time, so I don't know.
Sometimes in Hebrew, matzabot or matzabah, singular, matzabot, plural. And
It's the blue wall, he's right.
this was a representative of, in this case, a phallic symbol.
Really?
An indication of immorality too that was practiced here. And the purpose of the immorality was to help God, help Baal and his sister wife to have relationships so that it would rain and there would be a fertile harvest.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the difference between Christianity and Judaism. Judaism, things like this would be discussed very openly. You know, it would be done with tact and with taste, of
Sure.
course.
Yeah,
But
right.
it doesn't carry the stigma, the taboo. You don't discuss.
Coming up from the water shaft entrance because it's at a 4-room house. If you'll notice, this is also a 4-room house. It's much larger. But the 4-room house, first of all, is a terrible name because the first one they found had 4 rooms. Said, we have a 4-room house. Well, they found them with 5 rooms, 4 rooms, 3 rooms. But the general structure remained. This was the house that suddenly started appearing in this part of the world about the 12th century BCE. Right as the Israelites are coming into this land, and was used almost exclusively throughout the country, north and south, up until after the time of the exile, about the time of the between the Persian and Syrian periods, or Greco-Hellenistic period. The basic design was the same. The bigger the house, the more wealthy the family. You saw a small house over by the water shaft. Here we have a very large one. If you notice the sign out front, this one has caused a bit of a controversy. As you know, archaeology is a destructive science. We talked at Bethsaida yesterday. You don't want to excavate below that beautiful 11th century gate to get down to the 10th century gate, because the 11th century gate is so perfect. This structure was actually found, well, way over there. And the director of the excavation, Amon Ben Tor, decided that they needed to go below it, but it was such an exceptional example of a 4-room house that they would simply put it over here. And they did. Incidentally, Hatzor was originally excavated by the great Yigal Yadin, and one of his students was Amon Ben Tor, who is here continuing the work of his teacher. And the excavations are ongoing. Hatzor is fantastically large. The Canaanite city went all the way on the other side of that little hill, across the road on the other side, down this way. Probably 30,000 people in the Canaanite city. Israelites, Hatzor was much smaller. But the excavations continue. Tom was mentioning on the bus, Yadin had a dream of finding an archive, a library of cuneiform tablets. Because Hatzor was such a major city, it would be inevitable that there would be one here. If they could find the Hatzor equivalent of the Armana letters that they found in Egypt, it would be one of the probably the greatest find since the Dead Sea Scrolls. Hadn't found them yet. Ben Torah keeps thinking we'll get there, but not yet. Back to the house here. The house was designed on a very practical basis, which always had a central courtyard. You would come into the courtyard here. This was generally uncovered. This would be left open. You can see here the press, little oven, and what you would normally find are pillars such as these. You can see some over here. That's a storeroom over here, they believe. On one side would be where you would keep your animals. And the other side would be used for another purpose, sometimes a cooking area that was covered. And generally you would find a single room across the back, and that was where you got your 4-room house. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In this particular one, because of its size, it's divided out. You have living chambers in the back. You always have your living chambers to the north. It's warmer in the winter, it's cooler in the summer. You have your sleeping chambers in the north. This particular one has added sleeping chambers to the west side as well. But this is the general structure, and it makes it great for archaeologists. If you find the ruins of a 4-room house and it's very distinctive, you got Israelites. It's very easy to identify a structure anywhere from roughly 4th, 5th, 6th century to the 12th century BCE by these structures. Check your shoes on that. Fertilizer. Oh, that's right.
We're at Don, and this is north, quite a bit north of the Sea of Galilee. This is water that feeds into Lake Tiberias, Gennesaret, and beautiful, refreshing back in here. It's about 100 degrees out from under the shade, but back here in the woods it's very pleasant. So. How is it, Frank?
Great. Cold.
Cold?
Feels great. Oh yeah. And you can wash your face.
Well, you need to.
In the Yarden.
In the Yarden.
2 or 3 sites along the way. You'll have to look and see what the. Here's some right here.
Yeah,
Right there. See these stones? It's a mitzvah. Is that correct pronunciation? Mitzvah? Matzpah? Standing stones. It's certainly been infiltrated, if not mostly given up, the worship of Yahweh. But what you would do is you would offer, make an offering to other deities. And the standing stones were placed in places where you would make these offerings. There's another setup for a little further up. And if you'll notice through the course of the Hebrew Scriptures, you know, at first putting up standing stones is a good thing. What does Joshua do? Moses did. When they crossed the Jordan, standing stones to commemorate a place. But later on in the prophetic record, because this was such a ingrained feature of worship of other deities, it became something that, no, we don't need to do this. So in the later prophets you see standing stones such as these condemned. But these were found here at Don. There's another set a little further up in the gate. Okay? Let's move on up through into...
Just the foundations. They were built up of mud, and then the whole thing was plastered over.
Okay, this might be a good time.
Well, then give me just a minute and the camera can look up here, guys.
This here is a cultic or a pagan altar. And where you see that four-posted structure there, that was basically a big
Right. Well, that's what these used to be over
a
here.
big set of stones. In other words, that's all enclosed. You can see the steps to the left. That you would climb clear up on top and make your sacrifice. And then these stairs there led clear up to the high place, the Holy of Holies, obviously in pagan worship. Now, if there's hewn stones like what you're seeing there, it means it's pagan, because the Israelites would not have ever used hewn stones. It's against the law.
That's Metula, I guess.
That's an army bunker.
No?
No. Bad Syria here because they can't quite see to us. The other side of the hill there. Samir.
That's Bunny.
That's Bonnie River Valley. Goes straight out that way.
That's the one they're trying
Well, what happened, we got in and we told him we wanted to go to the pagoda. And he said, do you have reservations? He said, oh, you need reservations. You can't get in without reservations. They're
Well, we're at a restaurant. It seems like it's kind of in a funny place. We drove into some fences and kind of drove around. It looks almost like a military base, but of course nobody's out being at Shabbat. And here we are at this restaurant. It's basically a buffet. Most everything we've been to so far has been a buffet except for the one day and by the Jordan and the Yarden. And so today we're here. It's been a very hot morning, great morning. Enjoying ourselves very much. Frank is very hot. It's good to get him sitting down and having some water. So having a great day.
And he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. But I tell you, you are Peter. And on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it." Believe that in the ancient world there were three kings who stood in the world. Strangely enough, in the Holy of Holies is the temple. You know, we talked several times. Talked several times about sacred precincts. This is an ancient site of Canaanite worship, a site of Hellenistic worship, dedicated to the god Pan.
Is this an active archaeological site?
It's supposed to be. We're supposed to dig here this year.
Hey, what's the name of these waterfalls?
They are good.
This is Gamla.
It is that point.
Right there.
The
further back.
Yeah.
I wish I could say a distance.
Alright, from the front of the bus. From the bus it's about 11 o'clock. Look at the camels, huh? Look like the camels.
Yep.
I hadn't planned to interfere today. Paul asked me to say a word about this place. So I'll do a brief one. First of all, I have all these beautiful eagles here. You know, they call them eagles, they're really not. They're vultures, some kind of vulture. But this is a good place to see them, and we were really lucky. We saw that huge flock when we first came down. There's another one right there. What is it? Oh. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Gamla. Gamla was a very important city here in the Galilee. Now, a lot of people in the West get very confused about things. First, let me clear up a few things. We're not in the Galilee. We're in Gaulonitis, which is the territory of Philip, Herod Philip. He came to power 4 BCE, and he died in 34 CE, and he was buried at Bethsaida, where we were the other day. Gamla was an important city in Gaulonitis. There were Jews who lived here, although they weren't called Jews in the first century. The name Jew didn't come around until much, much later, late Byzantine. The people up here were Galileans, Golanis, I guess, I don't know, Galanis, and then Judeans. And these are people, they practiced the religion of Judaism, but it wasn't called that. We don't really know what the name, you know, they weren't like Baptists or Methodists, you know, things like that. So, anyway, the Great Revolt began over near Jerusalem at a place called Modain when, sorry, that was, I'm getting the first, the Hashmonean Revolt. The Great Revolt began with Caesarea and spread here to the north. And Josephus was a commander in the armies of Galilee and was in a place called Yotvata, which is back over not too far from Jezreel, Nazareth, back in that area over there. And he became the commander of the Jewish armies here. Now, I pointed out the other day the base camp of Titus over near the Jordan River, you know, where that was located. Titus spared, the people of Tiberias surrendered, so Titus spared Tiberias, and he marched through Migdal. For some reason or another, Capernaum was spared, and Bethsaida wasn't. Bethsaida, you see the northern end of the lake down there, and Bethsaida is, well, I can't point it out exactly. I know where it is, but I know where to look, but there's nothing for me to say, look left of the, but if you go straight over the top of that big white building, and to that patch of, you see a patch of brown, and then a patch of green. It's in that patch of green right after that patch of brown. That's Bethsaida. So, Bethsaida was destroyed, and then they came and they made this attack in Gamla. And essentially what happened was this. You can see the way the hill is located. No way to build a city there, so you got to build it out and up. And so they literally had high-rise apartment kind of buildings there. When the Romans came, they attacked over the walls, and they were fighting on the rooftops. And they fell through. A lot of the Romans fell through to their death. The roofs weren't made to support all the weight that was on there. And they died, and the people who lived in Gamla, the Jewish people here, thought, this is a sign that God is with us. And they got real lazy. They got real sloppy. They had a big celebration that night, but the Romans came back the second day, and this time they tore the wall down. They came from the other side, tore the wall down, and destroyed the city. And once it was decided the city was going to be lost, once they realized they couldn't win, somebody came up with the idea that we should throw ourselves off the walls, and it would be better for us to die than to surrender and become slaves. Now, Josephus was the commander of this outfit, and so he's the one who more or less talked them into throwing themselves off. But then when it got to be his time, he changed his mind, and he surrendered and was taken prisoner, and he spent the rest of the war. Part of it he was in jail. And for some reason or another, he made this, I don't know, it's not a prophecy, but brown-nosing Titus and told him, one of these days you'll be the emperor, which he became. And when that happened, Titus freed Josephus from prison, gave him a stipend, and told him to write the history of these wars, the history of the Jewish wars, also the Antiquities, kind of history of the Jewish people. And he wrote it with a Roman collaborator's twist. He even changed his name from Josephus to Flavius, which is a Latin Roman name. And he was a man of high honor among the Romans. And what Paul said is 100% correct. He's like the James Michener of the first century. He loved to tell a story, and anything that he could do to, to enhance the story, he would. And whether the 5,000 people jumped off here or not, we don't have any idea. It's probably not. I mean, we now know the Masada story is a complete fabrication. And so this is probably kind of blown out of proportion too. There may have been some people, maybe not. Not as far as I know, no skeletal remains were ever found of some sort of mass suicide. But colloquially, Gamla has come to be called the Masada of the North, when in fact, if the story is true, even partially true, factual, if it's partially factual, then Masada might be better known as the Gamla of the South. And this was a much more important, in a much more important place. So anyway, that was it. It's a beautiful site. And now, by the way, the synagogue, there's a lot of argument about this. You'll find people who say things like, I don't want to mention any names since I'm being filmed. Don't want to have to say I was misquoted. But there are some revisionist biblical historians who will tell you there's never been any first century synagogues found in Israel. That's not correct. There have been. Here's one of them. One at Masada, one at the Herodian, near Beit Sahur. So we have found first century synagogues. Secondly, there are some revisionist biblical historians, minimalists, they're known sort of in the trade. They would say there's no evidence at all that there was ever a King David or King Solomon. These are just stories and legends that have been created to give Israel some sort of history. That also is incorrect. I'm absolutely certain Paul pointed out the area at Dan where Biharan found an inscription on a potsherd, an ostrakhan, at Dan many years ago that spoke of the house of David. Also, the Mesha inscription found in Moab and the Moabite stone also talks about the house of Omri. So we know these people aren't, these are legitimate. I mean, that's a little evidence, but that's evidence. And then when we were in school, those of us who were in seminary, well, there was this, I don't know exactly what we called it. It was called internal evidence, where if a story is well formed, and then there's a good chance that, that it proves itself just by the way the story was formed. So all those stories of Moses and David and Saul and Solomon and Omri and Ahab and others, it's an internal evidence that we can trust. So anyway, here's the first century synagogue, and they look like they're doing a reconstruction. Also, I saw a sign that said, "Take the shuttle to Gamla." I don't see where the shuttle's going to go, but I guess you could drive a shuttle down there. It's a pretty good hike to get.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Look, he's got black trailing edges, solid black.
I missed him. I mean, I got him, but I didn't get him long.
Well, not has to do with that. Was that you have the camel under a burden and he's walking right here, or his leg, as he walks through the desert and he's bent over.
That's Josephus right there?
No, it's a book called.
This is the Jordan River.
King once called Basilius that beautiful Greek god. Because that beautiful Greek god. Okay, I'm going to be with this behind me. Yeah. If I point, that's okay, right?
It would be better, I think, with your sunglasses off.
People could actually see your eyes. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Well, we're at Capernaum. You hadn't got to see me very much. You've gotten to listen to McCracken and Brian. You got the B team. Now you got the A team, the man. Sorry.
It's okay, we can edit it.
All right.
I think the typewriter.
Actually, we are, you see my beautiful Corsi excavation hat where we're excavating across the lake, but next year we're going to be here. We've been talking about Capernaum for a long time, and this is it. Now, as you can see behind me, we can't get in. Well, we could, but we don't want to because there's a lot of snakes over there and a lot of holes, and it's easy to get hurt. But these are the ruins, the excavations of Upper Capernaum, today controlled by the Greek Orthodox. Paul's painting around to give you a view of what's here. And in a little bit, I'm going to point out what we did in the early 70s, what we propose to do now in the early 21st century. In fact, where you're looking back there, off in the distance, you see, you can't see the wall very clearly. You can see it far more back here to my left. But back against that wall, between those towers and this rubble, is where most of the early excavations were done, 1971, 72, 73. And everything that was found back there is early Islamic, Umayyad, and useless. It was useless to us, especially if you're on the search for the village of Jesus or where Jesus was. Now you see this wall off in the distance here. This separates the Orthodox from the Franciscan communities, and there's the church built over the supposed house of Peter or Peter's mother-in-law. And just in the edge of that wall, you see part of a bath. It looks like just a heap of stones that's all there. But there and to the left is part of a bath complex, and adjacent to that bath complex is a first century Roman villa. Not at all like what we saw at Bethsaida. At Bethsaida we had a insula, first century house. This is a villa, one family, many rooms, big house, a lot of servants. And to kind of give you a little perspective, you're looking back at the church. To the right of the church, you can see just a little bit of the synagogue that was there. A person who lived in that villa is most likely the centurion who built the synagogue. Now we find out about this man in Luke chapter 7, and we're told in Luke 7, I'll just read a little bit of you here for you. After Jesus had finished all his sayings and hearings of the people.
Change batteries.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll start off.
Wave and then see to get the few batteries ready. And
front of the tree.
I'm trying to give all these very elaborate hand signals that probably meant absolutely nothing and made me look ridiculous.
Nah.
We got it.
Big building
Ready to go. Go back to your Bible.
All right, well, you can start reading Luke chapter 7 anytime you want.
The story of the centurion is found in Luke chapter 7, and here's what we read. After Jesus had finished all his sayings, in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. All right, let me stop there to say, by this time, Jesus is so popular, he can't teach in town anymore, in the village, because there's not enough room. So he was out to the south of town. You'll see an area in a little bit. We'll be over in an area where you can get an idea of the place where Jesus taught. A centurion there had a slave whom he valued highly and who was ill and close to death. When he heard about Jesus, he, the centurion, sent some Jewish elders to him, asking him to come and heal his slave. He wanted Jesus to come. When they came to Jesus, they appealed to him earnestly, saying, he is worthy of having you do this for him, for he loves our people, and it is he who built our synagogue for us. Well, there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, one is, suggests this is a poor village. And there was a time when we thought it was. We thought it was very poor. Now we're not so sure. I mean, its proximity to the lake. These were the most abundant fishing waters around the lake. Maybe these people weren't as poor as we thought, but they didn't have enough money to build their synagogue. And to have a Gentile build your synagogue would be, whoosh, that would be a big, big deal. Because we have this polarization between Gentiles and Jews at the time. unless this guy had a special relationship with the Jewish people. Now, let me read you a passage from Acts, which is also written by Luke. And this is Paul's sermon at Pisidian Antioch in his first missionary journey. Let me begin. Here we go. You Israelites and others who fear God, listen. Now there was a special category of Gentiles who were sympathetic to the God of Israel. These men were called, or people, actually women as well, were called God-fearers. Now the only place we've ever found this phrase, God-fearers, is in Luke's writings here in the book of Acts, Acts chapter 13, until the excavations at Miletus in western Turkey in the 1950s. There was an inscription found in the theater of Miletus that says these seats are reserved for those who fear God. So there was a category of people called God-fearers. Maybe this centurion was one of those. We're pretty certain this is his house. I mean, it's a Roman bath attached to a large Roman-style villa, and they're the first century foundations that we found here in 1974. Unfortunately, we ran out of money just when we were getting ready to do the work, and so everybody got busy, everybody got involved with things, and it was only 2 years ago that we decided we would try to come back and take a look at these Roman ruins. So they're going to begin, somewhere over here. Now just back away is a little bit is another villa, which is back over here. Just again, you see the ruins over there. In that villa, we found some Jewish shekels in the palms, and the wheat shekels, and some symbols with menorah. And we came to the conclusion that maybe this is the house of a wealthy Jewish person. Now, who could that be? Well, let me just stop to say there were four. Jesus had a relationship with four wealthy families here in Upper Capernaum. Rich people live over here, poor people live over there on the other side. And in biblical times, you got upper and lower city. It could be upper and lower, or it could be upper and lower, depending on the terrain. Here we got flat terrain, about 600 meters from one end to the other of this village, population around 2,000, 2,500 or so. There were at least four wealthy families with whom Jesus had a relationship. One of them was the president of the synagogue, or the lay leader of the synagogue, who's mentioned in Mark chapter 5, and this guy's name is Jairus. I'm sure you remember him. Jesus had been over at Kursi, where we're excavating. Now he's back over on our side. And Jairus sends word, actually comes to Jesus himself, and says, my little child is sick, would you come and heal my daughter? And Jesus says, of course I will. And Jesus comes and does that. In Mark chapter 5, verse 22, we're told that he's the leader of the synagogue, which means a layperson. If he was a rabbi, would say he's a rabbi. And so this might be the house of Jairus over here. It's two of the four. The centurion, number two is Jairus. A third person is Levi, the tax collector. And then we also found a house, first century house over there about where that donkey is. Back this way a little bit from the donkey. And that was a first century house also, back over here, out of the way, kind of isolated away from everything. And why would there be a house kind of off in the corner, away from everybody else? Probably because this person had a bad reputation. This might be Matthew or Levi, the tax collector, who's forced to live away from everybody because of his business. Also, he threw raucous parties and all sorts of degrading things that would happen besides the tax issues. And so that could have been his. That leaves one more. Of course, his life was changed. Jairus' daughter was ill. The centurion's life was changed. His servant's life was changed. But there's one more person that lived up here who's not mentioned by name, and he's only mentioned once, and that is in the Gospel of John. Jesus has been down in Judea, and he's on his way home, and we're told, beginning in verse 46, John 4:46, that a royal official whose son was ill had gone to see Jesus back somewhere out of the village. There's a spring. You can't see, it's hazy today, but back there we've got the Wadi Hammam. I'm sure it's been pointed out to you earlier, but there's a spring there called the Spring of the Apostles, and there's a tradition that goes back to the Byzantine period that Jesus met this man there. at the Spring of the Apostles, and he comes and says, my son is sick. Can you come and heal him? And Jesus does. So, royal official, which means he works for the administration of Antipas, which is located in Zippori, although Antipas is living in Tiberias. You can see it on a clear day from here, over there. So we've got a representative from Rome, the centurion, a representative of Antipas, this royal official. We've got a representative of the emperor, the tax collector, and we've got a representative of God, who is Jairus in the synagogue, and they all live somewhere in this mess. And that's what we're going to try to find and explore in our excavations of Capernaum, which begin, we hope, at the end of September 2003. We need $250,000 to do this work, and we hope that you will help ask people to support this cause. We need volunteers, we need money, and if we get it, both, then we will finish these excavations. Capernaum is the most important part, probably, Bethsaida could be, but Capernaum is probably the most important village in this part of Galilee ever associated with the life and ministry of Jesus. It's time to finish the work. There have been 4 excavations. The 1930s with Corbo, the 1950s with Corbo, the 70s with Vasilios, and in 2003 we'll begin to finish the excavations of Capernaum, and we'll finish it here in the upper city. So we hope you'll be able to come and be a part of that. And that's the story of Capernaum. Now we'll go to the other side and talk about the Franciscan side of Capernaum.
This is where Matthew could have lived. Right back in here.
Torah is subservient to the Talmud, to the oral tradition
Abundance for all people, Jews and Gentiles. And I think his question is poignant and meaningful and relevant to us today as it was when he asked the disciples, "Do you not yet turn?"
Focusing for some reason.
Trying to focus on all those different distances, probably from here all the way back to the wall.
You're fine.
As well as Tabgha, which is back to the left. But that's the route he would travel, coming right through there, coming across this northern side of the Sea of Galilee. All this white stuff are crops that are covered right now. Mm-hmm. That would be where, say, the 5,000 would sit. But on down below that, it drops off over there, and the shoreline would be down below that.
So was this you're saying this is the feeding of 5,000 or the Mount of Beatitudes?
Well, the feeding of 5,000.
Where am I at here? Mount of Beatitudes.
Close to it. Thank you. Appreciate y'all's forbearance again today. The heat's starting to crank up on us. We can get back pretty soon. First century house. And you can see the design over here, and the best way to look at it is look at the design. We have a first century insula house, like we've talked about at Bethsaida, like we talked about at the slideshow the other night. And on that house were built 2 churches. 3 churches. This one time with Corbo, and he finally ascended to let some guy with a camera come out here. And all this was covered up, you know, the corrugated rolled up tent that covers up our stairs, all this was covered up with that, with sheets of that. He'd come, pull up the sheet and snarl at the cameraman and talk about something, and he'd put it back and snarl some more.
All right. Well, they don't have to leave. I mean, but
Yeah, they do.
don't talk.
I'm going to talk to the synagogue. We're not in the synagogue. Everybody else over here.
Okay. Said, okay. We're still in Capernaum, and we're down here at the so-called House of St. Peter, which there's a big debate about that right now, whether it is or isn't. I'll explain more about that in a minute. I'll show you in just a minute. Anyway, what happened when Corbo came here was for some reason or other, this room had been venerated.
Oh, Corzine yesterday?
Oh, that's terrible.
You were very happy. Yeah, of all things, competing with cats. I mean, like a 5,000 miles.
How you use the religious press? Yeah, Nations Press and company called St. Joseph's Production.
D31 for the
29, 30, and 31. Okay, fine.
See it.
That's great.
Digging out the hole. Frank, would you like to come give some commentary on your hole?
Do what?
Give some commentary on your hole?
Oh.
This is my camera.
Oh, okay.
Why doesn't it go? Oh, yes.
It's it's an S40. Yeah, it's a Canon.
Yeah.
It's 40.
But what did I get those for?
What?
Those 3. What? There's no battery? I can't believe that.
You mean because you don't
There is
get a
better.
picture?
Must be because I didn't use it.
There you go. You're talking about the 3...
Yeah, I can. Yeah, why do they have this communication again? Sit back. You have a camera. I should ask the
We're off to breakfast now.
Hey, would you take the wheelbarrow to the bus?
Okay.
Here, I'll carry you a drink, Frank.
Huh? I got it. Back down this one. Right there. Huh?
Working, look at that with a smile.
Oh, yeah.
Picking all this stuff out of there.
No, I'm picking the tomato seeds out.
Are they bad for you?
Any kind of seeds or nuts are bad for me.
Today's breakfast consists of subs. Surprise, surprise.
That's the thing I like this year's breakfast better.
What did you have last year, Val?
I wasn't here last year. Made cider. They brought everything out. We had a whole 2 tables and cheese and spreads and jelly and jams.
Oh, really?
Cucumbers. And
When was that? Before we got here, right?
Well, this was a baked cider.
Oh,
back in summer of '99.
Last year we had generally the same ingredients, but they were in individual styrofoam boxes. Each box had a blob of tuna, a whole tomato, a whole cucumber, a boiled egg. Bread was in a separate bag.
Make your own?
Blobs of cheese.
Tuna and cheese.
And the little bread things.
Never be able to tear off the top of that tuna up there.
How does your sandwich taste, Frank? I'm doing an interview. How's your sandwich taste?
Sandwich is good. Anything is good.
A little cucumber, tomato, tuna, hard-boiled egg.
Anything is good when you're out here and you've been working for about, what, hour and a half?
A while.
Since about 6 o'clock.
In about 120 degree weather.
120 degree weather. Anything tastes good.
The shade is certainly a blessing, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
And this cold picnic table that we get to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
There's this. This is I'm drinking orange juice.
Is that's what that says in Hebrew, right?
Well, I was reading the Hebrew. It says jump.
He's reading the Hebrew. It says orange juice.
Orange.
Jump orange.
And it's 330
now,
milliliters.
What does the other side say?
On the other side,
Oh, I see.
I can't read that other side. So, this is a pomelite, which here, cross between a grapefruit and a pomelo.
Pomelo.
I don't know what a pomelo is, but I do know what a grapefruit is. So, pomelo is sweeter than a grapefruit, but drier. So they crossed it
to get
with the grapefruit to get the juiciness, because the pomelo is more dry. Best of both worlds.
It tastes better when your fingers look like that.
Yeah, when you get some dirt in there.
Right. It makes it taste a lot better.
Yeah. It is. Delicious. A little grit.
Flavor. Adds a little grit to it.
Helps you, it's kind of like a chicken in a gizzard. Helps you digest it better. Chocolate? Chocolate? No. Hey, Brian. How do you say chocolate? Chocolate. Well, I mean, other than English.
Hebrew. Gumbeivrit. Chocolate.
Gumbeivrit.
Chocolate. Kinnaman. Chocolate. Chocolate.
Okay.
The kinnaman. Kinnaman.
How many languages do you speak?
Well,
yeah. None. Well, okay, including
very
English.
Difficult.
How many are you working on?
Oh man, I'm working on one. No, I'm working on about 5.
Does it get easier with each language?
Sometimes I think so. Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek. And I'm hoping to start German this next year. That's right.
בית המרחץ והסיפור של המתנדבים שבאו, כפי שאמרתי, מארצות הברית, דווקא בתקופה הזאת של יובש מבחינה תיירותית וגם מבחינת המשלחות הזרות. אל תשכחו שאף משלחת לא הייתה כאן, והנה האנשים האלה באו, שילמו כסף, המון כסף, באו ועובדים ותראו אותם מחייכים וכולם שמחים. וזהו, זה הסיפור. אנחנו מצאנו גם דברים יפים, מצאנו דברים שמתארחים את השלבים האחרונים, הייתי אומר, של המנזר. המנזר אנחנו יודעים שנבנה באמצע המאה החמישית, הוא נפגע קשות על ידי הפרסים בפלישה הפרסית ב-614, ומאותה תקופה יש לנו גם קצת רמזים, כלי הנשק האלה נדמה לי שהם מייצגים את התקופה הזאת ואת הרצח שהיה כאן.
Yes, you see, it was a gift. And that day has come true. While walking on the seashore after a drought year, they found an old nail. An ancient nail, and another. We cleaned it a bit, we discovered wood. We looked again and realized it was a boat. We moved along the wood. It was almost a 10-meter long boat. We felt we found a great discovery at an international level. Among the experts invited were marine archaeologists.
Okay, here we are. It's boy, I don't even know what night it is. Tuesday, I think. And it's kind of a banquet night. We're all here at boy, I don't know if you can read that sign. This camera doesn't do a very good job here at the pagoda. Come on, focus thing. Boy, sorry. Anyway, here we are at the pagoda. There we go. There it focuses. And this is where we're eating Chinese, and everybody already went in. So hope this doesn't make anyone sick watching this. But here we go.
There's not going to be a whole lot of room once we open it. Now?
Yeah, that's troubling to me. Doesn't focus at all. Yeah, I am, but I'm looking for it. It's not wanting to. It's not right there. I'm not. Yeah, it's gonna make whoever watches it feel yucky. Let's point it straight so.
Oh, I know. It's beautiful on the lake right now.
Yeah. That's what I thought, the reflection of the sun on the water.
Yeah.
This is from up on top of the air bell.
And there's a little boat there.
This camera, let's do this.
Must be, that's about what Dorsey is.
It is. The Arabelle. Now it's right down through there. basically where that road is that Christ would have walked through, and it goes back up and around. I'll go get some of that. Here we are, the Arabelle. There's Frank up there. Gives you kind of an idea. Be careful out there! It's a long ways down there. Man, gives me the cold sweats, even though I'm on a platform with a rail. Hang on, hang on. No, Frank, don't do it! Oh, no! Oh!
Look, the sun's just hitting the top of that hill right there.
Yep. Okay, that's where we were down there yesterday. I got a few pictures. One with Frank on that clear down there. You can hear the roosters. I don't know if you'll pick it up on this. Right here, we're up here on the top of the Arabelle, and this is the path. You can't see quite the beginning point because it drops off over there.
Yeah. But it would come between these two hills, right down that path, where the green trees are.
Yeah.
And when you come to the road, it would kind of be approximately where the road is today, except maybe down in the bottom past that road, again where the green trees are. All the way out to the highway. Once he got there, he would go on across all those fields towards the Sea of Galilee. Do you see the then around the bay to the next little bitty
which way are you going?
bay, going this way to the right.
Oh, I can't go anywhere to the right.
Whoop, 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 right there.
That's where I was, I think.
Okay. There you can see the different, I'd have to point them out, where the different spots are. That's good though.
This is still the Arabelle. Looking at through it. We were up there on the top on the right.
Gideon, right?
Yeah.
And they
So start to the left.
All right, start to the left. You got Mount Tabor. That's where some think that the Transfiguration took place.
But at least Deborah the prophetess was there.
But Deborah was there, and Barak. That's where they had their battle. Right there at the foot of that of Mount Tabor. This the chariots all got stuck down here in the mud, and they were able to defeat them. Now, way on further past Tabor, you see where the land drops off.
Halfway is the hills of Naphtali. Beyond that is the mountain of Gilead.
Of Gilead, that's correct.
And
the Jordan Valley is over there. You see this ridge going across?
Yeah.
All right, it drops down then, straight down. It goes right on down to the Jordan Valley. Beit She'an would be way down there in that direction.
Beyond the hill of Moreh.
Come to your right. When you come to your right, you start to see a part of what would probably be a Gilboa.
No, that's the hill of Moreh.
No, I know it would be over here, but I mean...
No, that's
just
part of it. No,
way over there. Would that not be Gilboa?
No, you can't see it here. The hill of Naphtali.
Okay, that's Naphtali.
Yeah.
All right, then you got Moreh right here.
Right.
You see Moreh in the center?
And right behind Moreh is Gilboa.
There'll
be no rain or dew on this mountain. And at the foot is En-Horod. This is where the Midianites came to attack this area. This is the place where Saul fought against the Philistines. That's where he died. Remember, he fell on his own sword.
And that's on the back side of that mountain right there.
Moreh.
But on this side, you see where the little village is?
Yep.
It's right in that area that the village of Nain was. So Christ would walk across this valley that you're looking at, the Jezreel Valley. He would walk straight across and go over there to Nain. That's where he went when he raised the widow of Nain's son.
And right behind it, in the Mount of Gilboa, you see the mountain comes down. This is the city Jezreel, which was built by Ahab
for his wife Jezebel on Naboth vineyards. And then you go further to the right, and that's the valley of Ta'anak.
All over here.
Then beyond that, you see there's several hills, which you see pretty clear. So it goes like that: Ta'anak, Dothan, and Samaria, and you see it's clear south. You see the right hand side most probably is Mount Gerizim. And the foot of Mount Gerizim, there's the area of Shechem, Nablus, where the Samaritan woman was. And that's where Jacob's well was.
So you're actually looking all the way to south. You're looking south, and you're looking all the way to
and the valley of
Samaria.
Lebona, which Frank mentioned this morning, is there. And this is the road that the family took from Nazareth to Jerusalem, and also to Bethlehem. And on the way back, after Jesus was at the temple in the valley of Lebona, the family mother, father, found out they left the child, their son, behind in the temple.
And the side of this precipice here covers up where you would be looking towards Mount
I want you
Carmel
to come before it's
and Elijah, and we'll look in that direction.
And then this whole valley is what?
Is part of is Jezreel Valley. It's part of what we would call Megiddo or Armageddon. All of that valley out through there.
Ashkelon, Jezreel.
So there will be bloodshed here.
Huh?
There will be bloodshed.
Armageddon.
Yep.
All out through there. Now, Tabor here, I mean not Tabor, but Moreh, this hill in the middle, is right in the... Good view though. As bad as it is, we've got a good view.
Right, but I don't know if you see Mount 3 degrees.
Yep. Look at this.
Now,
there's so much history took
Afula?
place here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where?
you can teach the whole northern region and history. See the Fula? Go to the right. There's Megiddo. And this is,
You
the
follow
hill of
this road out
There's
to
a road, a straight road.
Yeah, right out there.
Right there, that's Megiddo. At the foot of the hill there, that's Megiddo.
Right over the top of that lake, or whatever it is.
Above it, exactly. That's
Right.
a good
Yeah.
way to point out, Good, Shannon. And the hill there, the high one, that's Mount Carmel. And if you look at the left
one
side,
poking-
behind the smoke,
Okay.
and the one on the left-hand side is the place where Elijah had the altar. Right there, facing on the east. And on the beyond that is the Mediterranean.
Okay.
And Mount Tabor, you see beautiful from here.
Oh yeah, it's poking up there. Temperature feels good. Frank, can you point? Hang on, just a second. Can you go ahead and point again where we are?
Okay. We're here at
חשוב משהו כשקרה, אתה יודע מה זה? עזבו הכל וברחו. בסוף, בחיי, זה היה משהו, לא נורא. אז אני עושה איתה, אני חושב שאני אעביר להם את החומר ככה, אז לחוצה, אז אני מעבירה מה שאני רוצה. סימן לא נורא. אחר כך, היום בבוקר קמתי ב-4, לקחתי את אלה של הכנסייה, ראשי הכנסייה הבפטיסטית לזריחה בארבל.
ירושלים.
הייתי
כבר.
משם לקחתי אותם להר הקפיצה, ואנחנו עכשיו אחרי חדרה בדרך לירושלים, ליד השמונה, והם רוצים לראות את גזר, ואני בזה גמרתי איתם. ואני... בחצי. תגיד, אתה יודע מה קורה עם שני אנשים שהיה להם בעיה בניתוח? הילד, כולם היו בסדר? אז אם אתה לא יודע, סימן טוב. פנטסטי. יופי. זהו, אני יודעת. נו, איך היה? נו. מה אתה אומר? מה, יש עוד דבר כזה? מה אתה אומר? תגיד לעמי. אין לו דבר כזה. אין דבר כזה. יש לו בן דוד אחד פה ובן דוד אחד בצד השני, ובזה נגמר הסיפור. כן. לא, אבל יש את הדודה... לא, ממש... לא. כן, בטח. יש... סליחה, אתה יודע איזה גשם היה לנו, על הר הקפיצה, אתה יודע, זה היה ראות מהממת. צד אחד שחור, צד אחד שמש, ואיך שירדנו ככה למטה, אחרי...
With the line, with the fence, and behind you'll see stairs, green stairs.
Okay.
Olive trees clear out through there.
Well, it's a good picture, that building. Glad you got it. I'm the old olive maker.
Yeah. Come inside and let me show you. That is amazing that nobody really... Nothing.
No.
Especially when you can get a tour.
very good weather
No.
because it's not too hot.
It's just right.
הם עשו חפירות בקורסי, אז הם יודעים מה זה קם.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, we haven't told them what's in here yet.
Bottoms up. You like it?
Coming to it.
Yeah, we're taking a bridge over this. In Abacosh is known as Kiryat. Yeah.
Frank said he was going to get it.
Frank, come on, do your job.
threshing floor.
No, that what?
Threshing floor.
Yeah. So what they do is, usually they take a natural rock. On this, you remember we used to do it in Bethlehem? They would lift up the hay, the grain would fall, and actually they would put this on top several times. And this is how they would work on the fields, you know? And this is a sheepfold. These are all kind of grain. This is a sheepfold where you gather the flock by night. And then you would have a watchtower. And that's the watchtower. There. That's
Okay.
how a watchtower would look.
So this would be the sheep.
If I was nice to you, I would have taken your first tomato.
I don't know. This will show. That's cemetery, Trish. Oh!
There you see. What happened to me, they had a demonstration against Shiloh. You remember Charles mentioned him? Shiloh was the one who did the excavation in area G, also City of David. And it was right here off my car. So I took the jacket off. They freaked, you know. So the
Okay, this is the walk off the street up into the garden tomb, where you would see Golgotha as well. Up here, oh, there's the entrance. Right there. I think they're open. Whoa, what's going on here? Hope I'm not recording something. Well, we got here early. They told us that it supposed to open at 8:30, and it looks like it opens at 2, so that's why you won't see any video after this of that. Alright, so here we go. Okay, this is just kind of near the garden tomb, kind of gives you an idea. Shot. Things going on. First, here we are at the old city, the Master's Gate. Different shops, people. There's trash everywhere. Is it normally like this, Frank?
No.
The strike. I'll be right there.
Okay, this is the Damascus Gate, one of the main market gates. We're just outside the old city walls of the old city on the north side. There's a gate below this gate and to the left. You can't see it from here. We'll have to move further to our right. But out that gate is probably the one that the Lord came out on the way to the cross. The city wall continues on up the hill, and that hill is part of Mount Moriah.
Okay.
And then where the buildings are back over in this direction, back there is where Calvary is, in the garden.
Okay, back over that way there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would come out. The little gate that's under this gate. It's not really under it. It's under it, but it's to the left of it.
So Christ would have came out that gate.
The old Roman gate.
Okay.
And we'll go over this way further, and we can look down and see that gate.
Okay. So that's an old Roman gate.
Right. That would be the old Damascus gate. That would be the gate that possibly Christ came out on his way to the cross. We'll come out here and gone off to our left as we're facing this.
So then who built all of this above it?
The gate above it is a Turkish gate and wall built in about 1400. And that down below would be Roman. You can even see the difference in the Herodian. You can see the Herodian rock down here.
Larger.
Stone is framed. You see there's a little frame around that stone?
Yeah.
When you see that, you know it's Herodian. So that's Herodian, and this up here is Turkish. All that you see up above.
Okay, well, why wouldn't they just, in a sense, refurbish the old gate? Why do they build on top of it?
Well, because they have their own architecture, their own style. Everything that was there was destroyed, knocked down.
So this was excavated here then, this gate?
Right, this has all been excavated.
All right.
Practically everything from the time of Christ is 10 to 20 feet below where we're walking today.
Okay.
So you always have to go down in order to see what was there in his day. Except the Sea of Galilee.
So was it naturally filled over, or did like the Turkish people fill it, cover it?
It was naturally filled over time and centuries, as well as some fill done by the Turks when they were getting ready to rebuild. Brakes.
I know, it's cool.
See the brake he's using? Wall, or do you want to get down there to the gate or not? It's closed, you can't get in.
No, I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know what I need to see and what I don't need to see.
You've got a picture.
Let me tell you. Whoa, did I zoom in or zoom out here? What happened? Well, Trish, this is probably not a huge selling point for you, but if you were ever to want to come over, but it's unbelievable the trash and the smells here, how it's not cleaned up. People, all those vendors you saw were just sitting amongst trash. They wouldn't clean it up and put it in bags. Even as we walk right here along the base, Frank says that it used to be well manicured, the grass was green, and now it's just littered with trash. I'll show you. And this actually isn't nearly as bad as it is up top. This is just some trash.
Part of it, the trash strike.
Yeah, the trash strike, I'm sure.
And then part of it is the Arabs have just not kept their areas up at all. You'll see a major difference when you get into the Jewish quarter of the old city today, I'll bet. A hill. And that's going down towards Haggai, or the valley, the central valley. And the Damascus gate is down in that valley. And then you go back up, the hill on the other side is Mount Zion. I mean Mount Moriah. And it would be there that Abraham offered Isaac to our right and Christ was crucified to our left.
Okay.
But we're still climbing and we're going up.
Yeah.
You can see we're going up, and this is going up on the western hill. Haggai, and where it goes up again, it's Mount Moriah. And then this is the western hill.
Not terribly steep, but certainly up.
Let's get out.
Yeah. Okay, here we are at the, I think you said the Jaffa Gate. This is, I'm going to guess, what direction? This is west, northwest corner. Right here is the gate itself. Frank. We were walking down some streets inside the old city to get to here, and Frank said normally it's just jam-packed. Kind of like when we were at Disney World that one time, I think. It says just shoulder to shoulder. And yet we were pretty much the only ones there. All the shops are closed. It's kind of sad. So, hope this is giving you kind of a good perspective of everything here. It's another thing to be here, to smell it, to see it, to feel the breeze, to feel the sun, all that.
There's a picture of how it looked.
Yeah.
Basically the way it looks today.
So this is a moat.
Over here is the Byzantine.
So what are we looking at exactly in here? What is this area?
They call it just an archaeological garden where they've got all kinds of different periods. You need a guide who knows exactly what is what. As far as
yeah.
Which too light, too bright.
Watch this.
Some of this I thought if I could capture it, we can reconstruct it because it can be drawn, like this could be drawn. Setting all the slides. Interesting they use a slide set yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're on top of Calvary.
It's not focusing here. Okay, go ahead.
We're on top of Calvary, according to the Catholic tradition, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And it's supposed to be right here that Christ was crucified. You can see the rocks under the glass over there, which indicates you're at the top of the hill. That's part of the original hill. The church is built over it.
What is their what is their basis for having it here? Simply tradition, or
Goes back to Queen Helena, who came here in 325, and she and a priest or a monk who was living here at the time determined that this was the spot. And so they built this church over it, and it's really an amalgamation of several churches that are built here. Different churches over the centuries have built here. They've added to each other, and so when you're in this huge complex, you go from one church to another. And we'll go to the garden, to the tomb, which is also in this church complex.
oh, I actually started. It reads right to left. That's a mosaic. Beautiful.
Yes. This is a slab. Generally in high tourist area times, you'll see scores of people here lined up to kiss this rock. They bend over and they bow down and they kiss it. Just by the hundreds. It was supposedly there that they dressed his body and prepared it for burial on that slab of rock.
Doesn't want to focus at all.
See tombs here, tombs here. You have a roll of stone across the center. You have different loculii back in here. And it's very low right there. Where they put the bodies. Now these are supposedly authentic, and they were here in Christ's day. Can you see the light through there? If you get over the side, let the light shine in. That's where they would put bodies. And these are 1st century.
And so,
So because of that, finding of these tombs, these ancient tombs,
how good? Keep going. Fine. We're just at a little cafeteria here in the old city. Frank's trying to find receipts because
I can never find my receipts.
you never find them. We're gonna have to get a new policy.
Losing my receipts.
Frank is having a Coca-Cola, and I am having a Fanta, which Fanta and Coca-Cola
But we're also
are the 2 most popular drinks here.
But we're also having a falafel,
A falafel.
which they're fixing.
I'm going to go in and videotape that, see if I can get in trouble. Make him very happy. There's our server. Oh, it is. Frank and I are here having a combo meal. I'll have the number 1. They only have 2 combo meals, the falafel combo and the gyro combo meal.
But we had them supersized.
Supersized because we got the bottle as opposed to the can, and we got
the hot stuff.
Hot stuff. So how's it taste, Frank?
It tastes like a falafel.
And how much did it cost?
It isn't Chick-fil-A.
This was 20.
20 shekels.
20 shekels. Can you believe that? Each. Not combined?
I don't think so.
Holy smokes.
So that would be about
$8 total.
$4 a person. Coke.
Considering that your drink is about a $2 drink. It's not too bad.
Not bad. And then you get the sauce.
Now,
Very much like, say, Chick-fil-A.
Perhaps you could describe how the salesmen work here. They're a little different, the salesmen in the States, aren't they?
Yes, just slightly.
We'll have to videotape that. Okay, looking down that way is the Palestinian group. All the people that are trying to sell you something. I'm standing on the line. Here's the gate to the Jerusalem side. Can you see a difference? Clean, the Jewish quarter, I'm sorry. Clean, the shops are set up. You don't have people out in the aisles trying to push their wares on you. I need to walk up one of the really busy ones with this on and just let...
Back through there, you mean?
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that later or something.
Look at this. So that's original. Most of that's the original. The plaster, of course, has been reconstructed.
Right.
And added to.
This would have been the first malls, Trish.
Crusader Street. It's called the Cardo.
Cardo.
And right here we'll show you what it looked like in Roman days. about entrances free.
What is
Last ditch battle of the Jewish quarter took place in here. This area, this is a little museum.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the way it would look in Roman times. This is actual, this is not a restoration, except of course parts of the floor.
Yeah.
But you can see the columns, you see the walls, the shops would be back here. Go outside,
You see the trusses up there.
this would be like a Roman street during the time of Christ. I want to show you this. They have this. They're getting ready for the temple.
Oh.
Let's go to the north.
Is that solid gold?
No. Nope.
It would have been, wouldn't it?
That is from the mold that will be used to make the golden candlestick when they get the temple. They're going to make it to look like that. So the mold is designed, it's ready. They're just waiting for the time to pour it. Of course, they'll have to have pure gold.
We are in a... Okay, so this is Hezekiah's wall.
Right.
How thick do you think that is? Did they build anything on top of the wall?
It seemed to me like it was 20 to 20 some feet, 30 feet.
Yeah. Did they ever build anything on top of the wall?
Well, it was ramparts. I mean, you could walk up there, you know, and the soldiers.
Yeah.
But over here on the inside, right over here, is where they had houses built right into the wall and right up against the wall.
Right, which actually fortified the wall.
Helped to fortify it even more.
Huh.
And there's a picture of the entire city, a map, and the solid kind of a purple, is that red?
Yeah, it's red.
Okay, right there in the middle, that's what you're looking at here.
Okay.
There's a bend in the wall right there.
Okay.
That's all you're looking at, is that tiny little section.
Man, that's a lot of rocks. Of course, driving... Okay, we're inside the old city still. We'll be for a little while yet. Just want to show you, this is the Jewish quarter. Again, filming this to kind of show you, Tricia, the contrast between here and Palestinian sides. Now, Frank, the Palestinians would say that the reason they're so dirty and their quarters are such in disrepair is because they don't have money and they're oppressed, right?
Right. That they're being oppressed. Everything they make is being taken from them, so forth, by Israel. But when they had it, they never did anything with it.
Yeah.
Over here is the Herva Synagogue that was bombed out. And during the 48 war, they leave that as a memorial to it.
Is there a synagogue in that place now, though?
I don't know. We're very close now to the Wailing Wall.
Otherwise, you're impure and I know. So, even in Jerusalem, we're trying to soften the laws and purity for everything. So everything here is all that plastic. Those aren't restored. Those are the only found. So that's a bit of a problem. Mostly systems.
This is a ritual bath. Ritual bath. Here we are at the western wall.
They come in here with their families, there's singing, there's dancing, they throw candy, it's exciting. And they come out and they have their bar mitzvah outside. The family all gets ready back in here. They have books, they have scrolls, they keep their scrolls back right in here. You can see in these rooms, like this, they would keep them, and then when they bring them out for the bar mitzvahs, they come right out and they go out here. That's Wilson's Arch that leads outside.
Okay.
And if you look down here, you can see there are no lights on today. But way down there is the bottom of the wall. Now there's a tunnel down there today, and you can actually walk down there and go in that direction. It's been a while since I've been here. They've done excavation all the way to the other end of the wall on the opposite side. So you can see here still no light. Praying for the peace of Jerusalem. They put their prayer request on little pieces of paper and put the paper in the walls for their prayers.
Can I assume that you're a New Zealand Jew? I can't assume that. Don't assume anything.
You can't assume anything. No, I am from North Carolina.
Oh, now I pick up this.
You get that southern accent.
Of course, you realize that much of the southern accent is from the
Go ahead, you're fine.
It's terrible. That's one.
Here we are in the elevator, going down.
Oh.
In the mirror. Yes, this is a high-tech elevator.
Do we have any video of you? None.
Oh. Hello. Yeah, I did a couple of those.
You've taken all the video.
Well, that's okay.
I know.
Here we are off to breakfast. Hey, Yusuf.
Fine. How are you? Okay. How are you today? What are we doing?
Good morning.
What are we doing?
Okay.
We can take this table.
Okay. Let's go ahead and just go on up and see what we got here. There's some cereal. I don't know what those are. Crepes. Applesauce. Eggs.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much. Very.
And this is breakfast still. And we've got various salads, tuna, all of those. Fish. I don't know who eats all this fish. It does not look good to me. And vegetables are nice. Tomatoes. Bread. I don't know if it's yogurt. I had one day, but it was kind of a little runnier. And then cheeses and dips. So Frank's having some white cheese.
Tomato. I'm having tomato. No cheese. I don't think that's cheese.
I can't tell. So that's what we have for breakfast too. Okay, here's our hotel. I'm trying to remember, I think it's Friday morning. Lose track of days, really easy. We're at the pool Bethesda, and just thought this would be kind of interesting. Up above there are Palestinian homes. We're in, we are inside the old city. I think those are just outside the old city. As you can see, they all got their dishes. Let's see where I'm at here. You can see the laundry. Here I have one home. And as you look on top of the roofs, all the antennas, TV antennas, and that's very, very, very modest, poor. Those are some of the nicer ones we've seen.
Apartment, very good. It's our house. It's the roof. You could see the mosque from the roof. You see everything. I will take you after we finish. I will take you out.
We can see down into the whole temple.
Exactly.
Area.
Yeah.
This thing, for some reason, hasn't been focusing very well lately.
It's not focusing.
إن شاء الله راح ترجع إلى هناك.
But this would be the pavement where Jesus would have been. this would be the pavement down here where he would have been beaten, mocked, scourged, crown of thorns placed on him. You can see the games here.
Yeah.
We need good pictures of this.
Yeah.
No more batteries.
This here is the very street
Something's going on.
that Christ walked on. You can see the grooves in it. That was for chariots and horses. This indicates that it was a road as opposed to just pavement under a building. Here's another mosaic. I'm just talking on the video. Going on here.
Okay.
That's okay. Thank you.
We'll
Thank
see.
you.
My brother, you didn't pay the cost price.
No, I understand. I understand. Yeah, I don't want to.
It's not a problem, sir.
It's just I came with limited amount of money and only have so much to spend. Thank you.
Okay, but money is last thing we talk about. If you don't have the money, it's okay.
We're at the Garden of Gethsemane right now. Gethsemane.
That's the eastern gate. The Kidron Valley down below. The old ancient olive trees. Back in here, we'll walk around where we can see them. And here, inside the church, is rock upon which many pictures that Jesus prayed. So if we go in and take a look at that, out behind you can see another portion of the rock. make it as long as the tibia.
These are bone boxes.
Ossuaries.
Ossuaries. And so they would put them in the tomb and then come back after a certain amount of time.
After their body had decomposed, take their bones and put them in these boxes.
Now where would they put these boxes?
And they would keep the boxes in places just like what you're seeing right here.
It's on the bus.
You want Duck in the picture?
He didn't groan. Yes. I didn't hear him groaning like he normally does.
Yeah, he likes those light ones.
Please come closer.
Oh, okay.
My friend.
In line?
One line.
Being led by a donkey. Is it cozy? Oh, I love it.
You know, it's the first time I've been up on it.
Well, you would never know.
Chapel dedicated to the beginning of the triumphal entry. From medieval tradition, we have a rock that's mentioned in the early pilgrims, not as far back as Algeria, but the French pilgrim, the Middle Ages. You can see it's kind of protected now. Here shows us some of the frescoes there. Beautiful fresco with palm branches. We'll talk a little bit about that later. It's dedicated to Jesus' ministry. As you can see all around us, the beautiful frescoes, reminding us of Jesus' role in the Messiahship, his Messiahship coming into Jerusalem. And this is his first overt messianic act. More than anything else, this act demonstrates the first overt messianic act, coming into Jerusalem, riding on a donkey. And we have some textual issues to talk about. Is it one donkey or is it two donkeys? What does it allude to? Why is it known as such a great messianic act? And we're going to talk a little bit about that after we read a little bit from the Gospels. Briefly, let me first start with the illusion. Does anybody recall what the illusion is to? Why is this act so significant? Is there anybody else that was on a donkey?
Mary.
Mary was on a donkey, right, fleeing to Egypt. Anyone else? David? Solomon was anointed by the Gihon spring on a donkey, a kingly act. And so Jesus kind of reenacts this kingly act that was done 1,000 years before his time, and comes into Jerusalem on his donkey. And it was a common theme from Zechariah onward through Second Temple Judaism that donkeys would be associated with kingly acts and Messianic act. It's very overt. People took cues from that, right? They weren't dumb. They knew what was going on. They spread out their garments, took palm trees. This palm image is also very powerful. If you look on a 1 shekel coin today, if you look at a bar kokhba coin, what does it have on it? Palm branches. This theme of liberation, waving palms, jubilation, celebration, freedom from Rome. Yeah? And so you can imagine what was taking place as Jesus mounted the donkey. Was it from a rock? Maybe not. It wasn't a horse like the Crusaders time period, right? Just a donkey. Probably wouldn't have needed something like this. Not mounting a camel, as we saw Anne down the camel. It was a little bit challenging. Just a donkey. But in Matthew, we have an interesting difficulty. A quotation from Zechariah 9:9. He quotes it very literally. So literally that it has Mark and Luke both combine that, understand the Hebraic parallelism, right? It's very common in Hebrew poetry to say, we're going up to images which it creates in its use of order and structure and parallelism are very rich. So this quotation from Zechariah 9:9 is brought up in a different way than Mark and Luke. Here we have it.
When they had come near Jerusalem and had reached Bethphage and the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them, bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, just say this, the Lord needs them, and he will send them immediately." This took place to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet, saying, "Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you humble, and mounted on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt with their cloaks on them, and he sat on them.
So what did he sit on? Did he sit on the cloaks? It's possible. Another interpretation is that he was sitting on both of them. Is he really wide? Oh, that's not a little sacrilegious, right? He's really big. Or was he Antonio Bodoro? Is that his name? Antonio Bodoro? In the Mask of Zorro? Remember that? Anybody see that? He's on horsing, he's galloping. Jesus is coming in, he's making a scene. That's why everybody. That makes it very clear, right? It's not true. I think Matthew is a wonderful midrashic storyteller, and probably was squeezing a little bit more meaning out of it by having 2 donkeys. As we talked about in Matthew chapter 11, John comes as the forerunner, Jesus as the king, and a noisy herd behind him. There's a theme of participation in the kingdom of God. Yeah? Also here, there's 2 donkeys, a colt and a donkey, for a reason. Maybe suggested, maybe a little bit lost now, as he was probably speaking in Hebrew in a Galilean community up in the north. Brings this passage from Zechariah to bear and says, Jesus is coming forth as our king, and who's to ride alongside or behind? You, as the disciple. And really a powerful image of participation in this kingdom of God. And so this textual problem, for many people in Western society, is used in the Hebraic mindset and the New Testament mindset to really squeeze more meaning out of the text for life. That's what Midrash is. Midrash is taking 2 verses, putting them together, or creating some juxtaposition to create new meaning for life. Here Jesus gets on the donkey and joins us as well, in a sense, to participate in this breaking forth kingdom that he's demonstrating really for the first time in a direct encounter with the Jewish authorities here in Jerusalem.
ما الدنيا راحت من عربي من باب قمر بالقدس المسؤول ومعاه واحد مسؤول ما ادري يا اخي.
Weren't designed for this bypass traffic.
No.
Well, I mean, it was good and enough for the people of Mount of Olive, but now since they closed Bethany, so everybody of Bethany, they come this way.
Yeah, this has become a main street now, hasn't it?
Yep. It was a side street for the only people that live in Mount of Olive.
Right, yeah.
Well, I thought I would film some of the bus. This is we've been to Bethany and took a trip there, and thought I'd introduce you to the people aboard the bus. as you can see, we only have one person other than myself. Hey, Frank, how was your trip?
Oh, it's been great. It's been exciting. I've loved everything that I've seen. It's really been good.
It has been fabulous. It's amazing. We have got the whole bus to ourselves. A little big, maybe? No, I don't think so. Not for us. Oh, let's see here.
You got money.
Been an interesting trip, to say the least.
When you have money,
When you're rich like us.
then you can afford a bus by
Yep,
yourself.
we went to Zeki. We'd already went up the Mount of Olives by ourselves. So when we met Zaki, we went up to lunch with him on top of the Mount of Olives.
Siloam.
Oh yeah, he took us to the Pool of Siloam. And we went up to the top, had lunch, gift shop, and then the others in the group walked down. And we've been with Zaki the rest of the time before he meets them at the bottom. And so he took us over to the Tomb of Lazarus, which happened to be closed, but we saw the church next door commemorating it.
And saw the house.
And saw the house
Mary and Martha.
that Mary and Martha may have lived in. And so right now he had to run in someplace, so we're just hanging out waiting.
Top of the Mount of Olives.
On top of the Mount of Olives. Is that all?
That's about it.
Okay. All right,
Watching
then.
the sunset.
We are watching the sunset over the western side of Jerusalem.
Right? We're looking at Jerusalem.
Yep. Let me film that here.
It's getting night. And tomorrow will be, when the sun comes up again, it's going to be our last day in Israel. And we're heading home to see our little families.
That's right. We love them. You can see some of the bug splatters on the windshield.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Tricia, that this is no easy walk up this hill. I don't know if you can get an idea. It kind of gives you an idea.
And that's nowhere. That's
Oh, I know. That's nothing around here. I mean, everything is just up, and way down. You can kind of see.
Ready, I got my thing to charge my hamstring. Then I'm going to change clothes.
Hey Frank, can you tell me why are you wearing your sunglasses?
Well,
I mean, it is in the morning and we are inside.
it's morning, but it's bright. It's bright. The lights are on. Sun shining, not shining outside. Looks cloudy out
There are lights coming through the window.
Yep, lights coming through the window. And I decided to let a little Arab friend of mine, he needed a pair.
That was nice of you to
And
give
I
them to him.
decided to let him have that pair.
And it was kind of like a secret gift. You just let him take them. You didn't really.
Right. It was more of a secret gift.
That's how you should give, is in
Yeah,
secret. So.
That's right. Not let the
And you
left
should
hand
take
know
in
what
secret.
the right hand is doing.
That's right.
So I'm
So your left hand didn't know what his right hand was doing.
right. I hope to get a tax break for that.
Well, we're packing. It's I don't know, what time do you got, Frank?
It's 8 coming up on 8:30.
Okay, it's 8:30 Friday morning.
We have packed already.
We are mostly packed. It may not completely look at it, but these are just some last minute little thingies that we got to put away. Those are my clothes for the trip home. I'm sure they're very fresh and clean right now. I'm not sure how they'll smell by the time I get back. So we're excited to get home. Ready to
Can't wait. Can't wait.
ready to get back to Camelot.
When it's time to go, I'm ready to go.
Yep. So we'll get a little bit more video of some stuff and then we'll be on our way. We'll be leaving the airport at 12:30 a.m. technically tomorrow morning. And then arrive in Raleigh-Durham at 6.
Nope.
New York, JFK at 6.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Get into Raleigh-Durham 2:35 p.m.
Yep. Pictures of, get some pictures of this market. Okay. We're having breakfast this morning at this place. Don't look like much, but it's pretty clean inside.
Malo prešlo možno 10 minút a on učilo oči a tu Kristýn času uložil, že už teraz zastavuje toto, vieš, máme z neho začalo ho eváčiť.
Thank you. Okay, this is something that's unique we haven't seen since we've been here. I bring you a cup of coffee. You can see it's there. Put that on the cup, and inside is a little thing, and they put the water in, and it just filters down into your cup. With a little itty-bitty pitcher of, I guess, milk or cream. I guess this means you probably don't get free refills with coffee.
I don't know. Maybe they just pour more in this.
Maybe.
The
So
filter then.
it gets weaker. Some juice, scrambled eggs, and bacon. This is how people in other parts of the world live. We should be thankful, more thankful. We are the richest people in the history of man. Okay, this guy goes up in the pit to Christ's glory. stand and watch. This is where the guard would have stood. And look through this. This is kind of...
You want to buy it from me?
Protection. What are you looking for?
Down through there.
Huh. People coming.
لفة طويلة دغرية؟ لا مش دغرية
Man, we have been walking all day, well, all morning. We're both tired. I wish you could attach the aromas to this tape. Then again, maybe I... Huh? Yeah, nobody'd want to watch it. It'd be hard to get people to watch it. They'd be, turn down the smell. No, we missed the major market. I forgot to turn on the tape during that. I think you would have enjoyed that, Trish. It was like this, only every square inch was somebody selling something, trying to get you to buy. I'm hoping by running this that people will try to come out here and sell us something. That guy was just a pointer. He wasn't a hard salesman. That was a, huh?
He was pointing to a station of the cross.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the stations of the cross on the way to Calvary.
Okay.
And so he was pointing to it. People will walk by and they'll touch that thing. Sometimes they'll kiss it when they go by. And he was trying to get us to touch it.
Because we'd give him a shekel or something, huh?
We're going backwards on the Via Dolorosa.
Okay.
This is all the Via Dolorosa.
Okay.
That's why you have all the shops trying to grab the people as they come, as they're on their pilgrimage.
هلا بقول لك ايه اطلع من هنا دخل تروح هيك وتنزل هيك استنونا خلاص غير مره يلا اسمع هات 5 دقايق كيلوغرام
Look at the guy right here carrying all this bread on his head.
Oh, yeah. Morgan will like that because she likes the balanced stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's some.
You got a little bit of everything in through here.
Trisha, the other, oh, excuse us.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. The other thing is we're often called brothers. We're the brothers to many, many people. Versace. This is actually the busiest Frank I've seen any place.
Yeah, it is.
And nobody's trying to sell us anything.
I guess they're getting all the business they need right now. They got plenty of people in here.
Oh man, that rich.
Meat market.
Yeah.
When you go and look at the sausages.
That's got to be real healthy. Don't order anything rare around here. Look at the size of those grapes.
Look at her measuring it there.
Sage.
Coming up to the Damascus Gate.
Damascus. I was wondering what it was like coming in here because we haven't come in here yet. That's the Damascus Gate. We had filmed that earlier a couple days ago from the outside.
You'll need to get at least 3 inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one more. Just one more. I want to do that. Okay. Let me get the sign here with. Here we are in the tomb. We're standing in what would have been the weeping chamber. And then down would be the steps right there. And this is where the body would have been laid. Right there. And then over here, number 4, which is that area right there, is the finished localist for the burial place. And then there would have been pillow cut into it there. This here is an unfinished one. So this has room for 3 bodies. And then outside you would have noticed some pictures. There's the window that looks in. This is the stone. Not very tall. It's probably 3.5 foot tall, 4 foot tall. There would not have been a wooden door there. And then this is kind of the courtyard right here. Let me come over here in video. You can see this like trough type thing. That's where the stone would have been. The stone would have rolled in there. I take it that was a stop right there.
Right.
A big stone. Now outside here you'll notice some different things. These cavities indicate that there was something here.
Indentations here and up
Right.
here.
Mm-hmm.
It had an early church, they think.
Mm-hmm.
It was built here.
And it was built here for some reason.
It's interesting, the rounded shape of that. The rounded shape
Yep.
over there.
Yep. We got here at the right time.
Now, let's go up to...
These are the gardens that surround everything. You know what I didn't take a picture of? Did you take a picture of that area where the stone rolls? To show that?
No.
I should probably do that real quick. Let me go do that. Okay, come on back up. The pomegranate tree right there. And this would have been part of a wine press, I believe.
Used to barely give your lecture up here because this bus station is right here.
Oh.
And always a flag. Every single bus down there was going home, and everyone had a motor car.
Well, here we are. How do you like my pimple right there? It's just sticking right out. Incredible. The last day I get a big old set. Anyhow, we're at the airport in Tel Aviv, or actually Ben Gurion, which is outside of Tel Aviv. Frank's over getting himself a tax refund because he spent a certain amount of money at one place, so he gets some kind of a tax refund. But overall, it's been a great trip. I went and traded for the world, learned a lot of stuff, got a lot of things going through my mind. Try to work those things out. Frank has been great to be with for the past 2 weeks, and great experience. I'm glad I got to spend the time with him. So I'm going to excuse me, film a little bit around the airport and getting on and on the airplane, a little bit of JFK hopefully, and then we'll see you in a little bit. Bye. It's actually pretty quiet here at the airport tonight. We went through quite a bit again, more than others, to get through to this place. They checked through all of our bags again. I don't know if it's just chance or if there's something about Frank or me or the fact that we have quite a few electronics, could be because Frank has sunglasses on. And doesn't he look shady? Wearing black sunglasses. Incredible. We decided to get a cup of coffee here. I think we're both tired. You tired?
Yeah.
Really tired or just a little bit?
Huh?
Really tired or just a little bit?
I don't know. I'm alright. Tired a little bit, but if I can get myself straight, I'll be alright.
Well, I don't know how much you can see, but we're flying over Italy right now. This is all the coast of Italy. We should be coming up upon Naples here pretty soon. This is probably the suburbs of Naples. I'm going to try and see if I can figure out how to open up the shutter on this thing. Not sure if that's all in or not. This is Naples. This is Rome. I don't know if you can see it. Just kind of neat to know that we're flying over, and up here it just looks like a bunch of lights. Could be any city for that matter, but it is Rome. So that's kind of fascinating. Well, this is probably about the last video entry. I might do something on the smaller plane. I don't know. It's about noon on Sunday, and we're getting ready to board our plane in about a half an hour. I am exhausted. I've been up for, I don't know, 33 hours or so. But we're ready to get home and eat, get on the plane, and about an hour flight, I think. Frank just got his new strap for his glasses. Let's go ahead and video that because it's important.
Got it a few days too late.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see if we can. Very nice. You'll notice it's a braided leather, about the right length on him.
I had one pair, I lost a pair, my regular glasses.
Hang on.
What? What are you doing?
Look, you gotta turn it to autofocus. Oh, so you'll notice that Frank needs to shave.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, before he gives his Judy a little kiss. Otherwise he'll hurt her lips. We're both completely strung out. I do need to videotape the chair that we sat in.
Where? Down there?
There is a chair at Brookstone, I believe it is.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this would be something I would want for Christmas. It's
That's why we feel so good right now, and we're not totally
out. I mean,
totally
just the fact that we're even upright and moving around is a miracle.
It's
because of the chair.
Yep.
You know, you go to most airports and they would have charged you to sit in a chair like this, but we got to sit in it for free. It's kind of a demo, but I think we're going to be maybe putting that on the list of extreme desires, I guess. Extreme wants. So.
Well, you had to carry me off the plane.
Yeah.
And then after I got in the chair, now I can walk on my own.
I know, and it's amazing, and you know, you have to believe that God put that chair there for a reason.
Right. Well, you were crawling. You were crawling, and I was riding on your back.
It was a side. If I could have videotaped that, that would have been awesome.
Been unbelievable. And now you can walk upright.
Look at me.
I know.
Kind of pretty flexible. Yeah. If there was only something to massage my eyeballs, then I'd be all set. Okay, signing out. Maybe get something later. See where the record button.